light the theme, because it's time for Nerdy for 30, the podcast where we talk about nerdy-ish movies for 30-ish minutes. My name is Kevin Bauer, a.k.a. The Critic's Choice. With me, as always, the People's Champ, Tim Keck.
If you feel it, chase it, baby.
If you feel it, chase it. And the holiday season is upon us. Thanksgiving over, Christmas here. And to celebrate that, we are ushering in a new Christmas classic. It's Red One Day on the pod. Joining us to talk about this incredibly strange movie is none other than writer, comedian, and internet home cook. It's Emily Duncan.
Hey, what's up?
Emily, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Oh my God, thrilled to have you. When we first talked about you coming on the pod, you had mentioned that there was an action star that you stumped for no matter what, and I can't remember who it was. Is it The Rock?
It is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Of course it is. When MoviePass was a thing, I went to every single thing that was in theaters that he did. And that was a lot of movies. He's very prolific. I have seen easily 20 of his films, probably more. You know what? I don't even know if I like him that much. I know that he always puts his whole ass in, and I really appreciate that.
Damn. This was a perfect one. So how did you think he did in this movie? What did you think of this movie?
I never have notes on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's performance.
It's like spitting into the wind, you know? It's not going to change. He is what he is. There's no...
I got what I expected, you know? And I think that is the hallmark of a perfectly fine film. I went in with expectations and they were met. If anything, they were lightly exceeded.
Incredible. In that case, Chris Evans. What did you think of him in this movie?
I mean, for me, I thought that this movie broadly was tailor-made to something that I would like. Like just top to bottom, like weirdly buff J.K. Simmons, Chris Evans doing probably a Boston accent. Like it was just like
who can say
Krampus. Little spoiler alert. I guess we're gonna get into it, but like Krampus. Grilla, the Queen of Trolls from Iceland. I mean, come on. This movie had everything. And it's a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson vehicle, so I was legally required to see it anyway.
Per the terms of your plea deal, you had to.
Exactly. That's my community service.
This is definitely a good movie. In fact, I went to Rotten Tomatoes to prove my point. Mm-hmm. And it's true. The critics give it a 33%.
Of course they do.
But the viewers give it 90.
Yeah.
That's the makings of a good movie. I saw like the big picture was like titling their pod is Red One like the worst movie of the year. I don't know what they're smoking, but keep passing it away from me because I'm loving whatever I'm sucking down in this Red One movie. It's great. It's just awesome. I don't know. This is the best this could have been.
Yeah. I think that like I said, they met and exceeded expectations for what they set out to do. It is unhinged. It is an insane film. I knew that the People's Champ would agree with me. I'm interested to hear what our Critics' Choice Award winner over here has to say.
Look, I don't want to throw coal down your stockings, but this is a very bad movie. This is
what we're talking about, Kevin.
At times, I found myself enjoying parts of it. But let me put this to both of you. Who is this for? Because it seems like it could be kind of an action movie for you
specifically me.
Anyone with a heart in their chest, Kevin.
Oh my God. I got to tell you, they lucked out that we went to see this because they met their entire audience in one screening room in Astoria. There's so many parts of this that feel like they could be kind of like, baby's first action comedy. It could be a situation. There's aspects of this that I thought my 5-year-old niece would really like, but then they're also throwing around the word shit all the time. There's a bunch of jokes about how Chris Evans wants to hook up with a Wonder Woman action figure that I think, by the way, if they turned it into a real thing, I don't think it would turn into like an actual woman. I'm pretty sure it would just turn into a blow-up doll.
Well, the robots gain sentience. The robots had a mission. Right. They were given orders.
So it would be a blow-up doll that had feelings about it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that could be a whole side explanation. Is just what is sentience? What is life?
I agree that they did sort of walk an interesting line, I would say, in terms of what what rating this could possibly receive. Because it felt like large portions of it felt like it was a children's movie.
Mhm.
And then every now and then it just simply was not, you know?
100%.
Like, what, aside from the cursing, what else made it a PG-13? Because I was thinking the same thing. Like, every once in a while they'd say shit, and I'd be like, oh, I guess this is for us. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, there's just enough in there that's like, oh, maybe I wouldn't want to watch this with the kids. But otherwise, it's all good. Like, the fighting's pretty basic. The jokes are pretty fine, other than the Wonder Woman thing and
even
the cursing.
the Wonder Woman thing, he's just like, can you make this bigger over and over? Like, and that's,
Right.
you know.
That's a pretty PC version of that joke.
He didn't explain what he wanted to do with it, you know?
Yeah.
In my R-rated cut of the movie, he would have.
That's a deleted scene, and I think they made the right choice there.
It would have been just like the deleted scene or the post-credit scene from Deadpool and Wolverine, where it's just Chris Evans with a filthy mouth. There's a lot of like bikini babes in this movie too. The shots with like Nick
that's
Kroll on
great.
the
I mean, this
beach.
is a good movie, Kevin.
But it's
Yeah, it definitely didn't pass the Bechdel test. I'll say that. They did have 3 siloed women, which is interesting. It's a choice, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I think there's 2 kinds of good movies, right? There's good movies that are like art, where you're like, wow, that'll really have me thinking for a long time. The performances were really beautiful. Like, this was something great. Red One was never going to be that. You know what I mean? It was never,
No.
It wasn't designed for that. The script loosely feels like maybe like it either had like 12 different drafts, or someone who had never written a script before took a pass at it. Like, the concept of it kind of feels like someone maybe did mushrooms. And it was delightful. It was made for the other kind of good, which is, I enjoyed that. I would watch it again. I could like sit on my phone and like drink a hot toddy while that coexisted with me in my parents' basement 10 years from now or whatever. You know, like, perfectly enjoyable film, I would argue.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I thought it was fun. Chris Evans doing his thing, which I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
Dwayne being Dwayne. J.K. Simmons jacked as hell, which it's like finally he
For,
gets to take his
again,
shirt off in a movie. Like, we've been begging for it. I've been thirsty and it's been quenched. I love this Santa Claus. I love Jack Santa. Everyone's crushing it. Dylan's okay, I guess. It's fun to see Nick Kroll. The Krampus guy's awesome. Mary Elizabeth Ellis is in this, and she's fun. I mean, it was just kind of nice to see people. Lucy Liu. It was just like a nice good time. Kevin, I would be fascinated to hear a single complaint you can level against this movie.
oh
If
boy,
any. There's none.
I mean, there's a lot of plot stuff, some of which we discussed in the theater itself, one of which is the dangling thread of Chris Evans' dad. It's set up in the beginning like it's going to be a major plot point. We talked about this then. We've talked about it before on the pod. It feels like it was left over from an earlier draft of the movie where we find out that either The Rock or Santa is Chris Evans' dad. And I think in both cases, we realize there's no way that they can logistically pull that off in even this weird universe they've created. There's just no way.
I've been marinating on this.
Oh,
I've been
boy.
marinating on this since we talked about it, since we saw the movie a few days ago. And here's my thought. I think that what they're setting up for is Red 2.
Oh my God.
And I think that maybe Chris Evans' dad is another like mythological villain of winter, like Jack Frost.
Ooh. I was thinking like the Easter Bunny. Like, they could just hop to different holidays.
No, they have to stay in the winter. That's the knell of death for this series.
Hanukkah?
It can't be anything but...
Could it be a Thanksgiving spirit?
I would give it Thanksgiving or Hanukkah, but no.
Yeah.
Easter? No, please.
New Year's Eve, the spirit of Father Time or something could come and haunt people.
Perfect.
Yes. The Winter Warlock. There's a lot of things they could do.
Yeah, so no, I don't think that was a mistake, Kevin. I think that was...
It's franchise building.
Yeah, they're just
It's world building for sure.
Yeah, they probably already started shooting. I haven't Googled that or checked, but that is in my soul, I feel.
I mean, it was number one at the box office this past weekend. I do think there's going to be a Red 2. I think this is a hit for Amazon, so I think it's coming.
I think you guys should thank Red One because it dethroned Venom 3, which was otherwise sitting at the top of the box office. So,
Yes.
That is true. Anything that gets that out of there and gets that taste out of my mouth is a good thing. I do have another complaint that I'm interested to lodge with the two of you.
No, you have 2 complaints about this?
2 complaints to start.
I don't believe it.
I want 3.
To start.
Oh, I can spin that up.
Were we in the same movie?
We were indeed in the same movie, Tim. I'll tell you exactly what the extra complaint is. You both agree that to a certain degree, this movie is just about hanging out with The Rock, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's The Rock is in it.
Right. The Rock's in it. You
Kevin,
both
The
agree.
Rock, this is a movie with The Rock.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just hanging out with Dwayne Johnson.
Now, would you also agree that part and parcel to The Rock experience is the fact that The Rock is fucking huge?
Yes.
His bigness is a massive part of his character.
I've been a fan since before when he was more human-sized, but I remain a fan as he reaches ever grander sizes.
Like a lobster, he never quits growing.
Yeah, exactly. No one knows how big he can get.
Maybe he's starting to decline in old age, but he used to do the thing, Black Adam, where it's like, instead of...
Thank you for bringing up Black Adam. Yes, go on.
He would just post pictures of him working out extra hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, are you taking acting classes? Are you doing any character research? Dude hasn't picked up a Black Adam comic book, but he's in the gym lifting more weight than ever. And I feel like that side of Dwayne has died down. Maybe he's peaked already. His cheat meals aren't as fun. I mean, he's not the same man of the people that I fell in love with back in the day. But you're right. He is still an incredibly large human being, and he's weird looking, and that kind of is part of the fun of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Therefore, you agree that it is kind of a problem that pairing The Rock with Chris Evans makes The Rock look kind of small. There were shots in this movie where for the first time in my life, I was like, I think I'm taller than The Rock. He's always felt like looking at like LeBron James or like one of these NBA players that's just massive. He's always felt like he should be this towering presence. Seeing him next to Chris Evans, who I believe is like 6'2"-ish, 6'1", 6'2", and is also pretty muscular, made The Rock's muscularity look a little bit less intimidating, which is why I realized that the Kevin Hart pairing works so well for forced perspective, and I think this movie would have been better if he was with a smaller co-star.
Chris Evans 6 feet tall, according to Google. Dwayne Johnson 6'4".
Have to say, I didn't notice that at all, and it never once has crossed my mind that I might be taller than The Rock, and in fact, I'm not.
Wait, we have information coming in? Yes, we can confirm that is true.
I thought you were going to complain about him shrinking, which I think is funny in an ironic way because one, he's an elf, so of course the elves can shrink, and two, it's funny to think of Dwayne Johnson small, especially when it's just like a half-sized guy. Like he's not. Part of me is like Chris Evans is in this. It reminds me of Ant-Man, whatever. But he is such an awkward small size that it is funny. It's fun to look at.
I was going to argue that is the best Ant-Man fight scene we've ever got. I swear to God, that was great. Like that's some of the best Ant-Man we've ever gotten.
What?
Yeah, The Rock in this movie. The size changing stuff was great. It was a great bit.
It was as good as some of the early Ant-Man, I would say, because the last Ant-Man was truly slog. That was a difficult movie to watch. I can't believe I paid money to see that in theaters. And I can't believe that if they make another one, I almost certainly will again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought those were really fun. So your complaint about this whole movie is that The Rock looks not that big.
I would say it's up there. There's stuff that I enjoyed. There is a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. I think the fight scene
is it up there at the height you wish The Rock was, or is it up there like?
Yeah, it's towering above The Rock. It's honestly looming over him.
Yeah. Okay.
Do either of you have any qualms with this one? Is there anything that rubbed you the wrong way?
Let me look at my notes.
No.
Okay.
Perfect movie designation
on The Rock
from
specifically. No.
On The Rock specifically, never. Like I said.
Sure.
The Rock has successfully lowered my expectations of him to a point where I can only be pleasantly surprised.
I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth right now.
I feel like The Rock is a little bit of a sellout and it's a little bit of a bummer, but there is just a part of me that still is, as much as intellectually I'm bummed by him. It's just not, it's nice to see him. I get excited when I see The Rock.
Yeah. I think I also like read the best into him in all cases. I'm like, well, do we talk politics on this?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We're nerdy for 30. Why not? Okay. I know he came out like for Biden in 2020 and then didn't endorse Kamala this year. But I also feel like, I think that a lot of the backtracking he did was that he heard so many people be like, I'm sad and that this hurt him, and this hurt my feelings. I obviously am a socialist, but like whatever.
Canadian.
But yes, yeah. I am from a left-wing part of Canada. But I think that like what he did was in some ways kind of smart. I think that he was like, okay, the people that love me are not taking this message the way I thought that they would. And like, instead he's just like doing what he thinks is good. And then they threw that like weird little Democratic speech into this also. Right at the beginning where he and J.K. Simmons are like, sometimes the world is bad and we have bad feelings, but things are good because of Christmas. But I don't know. Yeah, I think that like, I don't know. I agree that he's probably a sellout, but I also feel at the same time, like maybe he's just like trying to reach people in a different way that we're not able to do because he's got this audience of people that are like across the board.
Yeah. I think he also, didn't he burn down Hawaii with Oprah? Wasn't that like a whole thing he did? So I don't know. I'm also not even talking about that as much as the character of The Rock, which we've discussed on the show before, is he used to have like crazy cheat meals, where he'd eat like 5 boxes of pizza and like pounds of donuts. And then he stopped doing that. He started eating sushi. His cheat meals started looking like regular meals.
Yeah, it's true. Like
and they're
mostly like very tall pancakes the last like few years, I feel like.
Yeah, it's pancakes, it's sushi. He's worried about getting shredded. I don't want to see him shredded. I want to see him gigantic. I also wish he would be a bad guy a little bit more because The Rock is a villain. The Rock is like a heel, or at least an anti-hero. And Dwayne Johnson is always squeaky clean in all these movies. And that's kind of something that is a little disappointing. Like it'd be more fun to see him be an antagonist, because when he's in the WWE, he's a huge asshole and it's amazing. He's so good at it. But it seems like he's unwilling to take those risks in a movie just to kind of like placate everybody. But there's still a part of me that in my, my childhood, the Christmas spirit kind of swells up within me when I see The Rock on stage and Chris Evans being there. I got to say, it's just nice seeing Chris Evans and stuff. I feel like he's kind of pigeonholed with the Captain America thing, but every time I see him in something, I'm like, all right, Chris Evans is here. It's going to be nice.
I feel like he's also, speaking of people like, or like the pigeonholing thing, I feel like Chris Evans has done the opposite of what The Rock has done, where he's very much like he's going hard on trying to take villain turns, or at least like something like it.
Yes.
To like show that he has like these ranges and he can say bad words at the end of Marvel movies or whatever, but yeah, Tim, I think those are all really good points.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Having any other beefs with this movie?
Oh boy.
That me and Emily can
light touch
shoot
of
down.
American militarism. Super weird. Why? Because Red One is a reference to like him being like he's Red One at just like the president is Air Force,
like Air Force One, Marine One. Yeah.
It was really strange to watch him get escorted out of that mall by some like F-16s.
Yeah. That was fun. That was weird.
That is weird, but I kind of liked it. Do you I feel like Emily, part of the appeal is maybe the like mythological fantasy melding with like today. Like I love the hybrid of myths and like, oh, Thor, and he's drinking a cup of coffee in a cafe. I love that intersection of like, oh, Santa Claus, and actually this is how his sleigh would actually look if it was around today, and kind of modernizing these old stories and legends. And I'm addicted to it. So I think that I'm just kind of the target demographic for this. I want to see Krampus hanging out with Santa. I love seeing all of this stuff. Yeah, it is weird that like, oh, the government just understands what Santa is, but I don't know. I still like the idea of him being more of a covert op. But I guess, okay, so my question is, Lucy Liu kind of runs this organization, right?
Right.
So are the Jets following Santa part of that organization? Because they look like it was just like the army or something.
Yeah, I thought, you know what? I thought it was just like, the army, the Air Force, something.
Yeah.
But now that you ask that, maybe it is supposed to be that group whose name I've immediately forgotten. Something like Merva?
Something like that.
I don't know.
There was
but they had the Headless Horseman. I would love to see these two guys just like track some of these guys down. You know, Headless Horseman gets out. They got to stop him.
Turn it into a buddy cop movie where they have to get the Headless Horseman. Halloween next year.
Yes.
Orange one. You know, whatever.
Orange one.
It's really the Lion King 1.5 to Red 2's inevitable sequel.
Yeah, we need the Lion King treatment where you just get a prequel that no one asked for of Dwayne Johnson like meeting Santa like 500 years ago.
And they aren't gonna get along.
Oh no, not at
you
first.
Know Scar?
Not at first.
What about before the Scar?
Oh my God.
This has actually been a long-term talking. Sorry, Kevin, you go ahead.
Oh no, please.
Long-term talking point in my house is like Scar must have had a name. It can't have just been Scar. Maybe the problem is you started just calling him Scar after he got a scar on his face. Like, come on,
it's insulting.
Who wouldn't get frustrated by their family after that?
It's like if somebody had to get their foot amputated and everyone just started calling him Foot. Hey, how you doing, Foot?
Stumps.
Right. Woof.
There's the trailer. They played the trailer for the live action Mufasa before this. I think they do say Scar's name in that, but they also do the absolutely fucking demented choice of apparently Mufasa's adopted, which doesn't make sense if we're talking about like a royal lineage. Like you can't just
to what end?
Why?
Yeah.
I'm sure Barry Jenkins has something up his sleeve, but.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got something going on there. He's got an idea.
He'll pull this out. This will be the best movie of all time. Yeah, this is gonna be as good as The Lion King.
Yeah, this will be a real red one.
This will be. Yeah,
it's hitting knives.
Jeez, I wish The Rock was in it just so I could temper my expectations. Like if they did the Lion King prequel and Dwayne The Rock is just dressed like a baboon or something in the background, I'd be like, okay.
Himself. He's the only human, like Michael Caine in the Muppet Christmas movie.
Oh yes, fuck yeah! Oh, have you seen that game before? Of like, it was like a Reddit thread where it's like take a classic movie and Muppet Christmas Carol style. Tell me how the Muppets would be cast and who the one human actor would be that's kept. And it's so much fun to think about. Yeah,
very fun game. Very good. Very, very good indeed.
I would do that in this movie with Lucy Liu, where Lucy Liu's the only human.
I think that's
she just shows up every once in a while to be like, I'm your boss, actually. And then it goes back to Muppets occasionally.
I would leave buff J.K. Simmons in it.
Yes, you're right. That's a better move. That's a better move as Santa.
Now that Ed Asner has passed on, I would love to see J.K. Simmons just kind of age into the gruff Santa Claus role.
Yeah. Let him cook, He's great. I thought he did great in this. Like I said, part of the reason I was so excited for this movie is I was just like, J.K. Simmons doesn't do anything where you'd be like, I was disappointed that he didn't bring more to it.
Not a thing. Not one.
Never. Even if it's a weird project, he's never going to do like a forgettable performance.
No, we just did La La Land on the show. He has like one dialogue exchange with Ryan Gosling, and he's electric.
Yeah. In Party Down, where he plays like a manager. Have you guys seen that show? Yeah. You'll never work in this town again. I know. He's great. He's spectacular.
What some other highlights?
What else do I have here?
Kevin, those are the only reasons you didn't like this?
There was something about it that I just didn't vibe with. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just wet blanketing.
It was a little sloppy. It wasn't like, it wasn't tight, but like, I think some of the best movies have little weird quirky bits.
I like that he stole candy from a baby. That's fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, the setup of Chris Evans as evil was just like classic. It was like, and it really set the tone for the movie where you're Like, this is basically a children's movie, except there's going to be like explosions that you might be like, I don't think I can take my 7-year-old nephew to this.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like the action scene when he first gets back to his apartment is legit awesome, where they have all the like, stun guns and they're freezing people. The special effects are sick. The way they sell it is sick with the people freezing, but it's like a little more intense than I feel like, again, like my 5-year-old niece could watch.
Yeah. It's like unnecessarily PG in some ways because like they do enough things that are not in that vein that like there just are a lot of younger people that should never see this.
Yeah.
Or not never, but not till they're older, you know.
The fighting is good. I wish there was more because they set up our introduction to Chris Evans is that he's very smooth and that he just kind of walks through things and just kicks, pulls the leash. The dogs are let loose. He throws something. It lands where it needs to land. I kind of wish we'd seen that again during the movie because we see him like be a good fighter or whatever. And we see him being like intelligent with Krampus, but there really aren't a lot of other opportunities for him to like steal a MacGuffin or swipe something or use his intellect to solve a problem.
Yeah.
The way he did at the beginning of the movie.
The fight with like the abominable snowmen, I felt like they could have given him a few more wins, like it just because then like that's one of our first like fights where he's like against something magical and it's like let him win one, like
he was cool in it though. He blew this whole thing up. He was making bombs and stuff. Dwayne was just getting his butt kicked, and then Chris Evans is like building bombs and like shoving snowmen into a grill.
That was sick.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they had some fun with it. It was just I never thought he might win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Yeah. And because that's so early in it, it like once he's not able to beat like the henchman, you're like, well, he's not going to beat the head like the, he's going to need the Rock for this.
They need each other.
Krampus was delightful.
Oh, Krampus was great.
That was great. What a fun little like the Krampus Schlaps and like the it gave me what I wanted in a Krampus sighting. And I thought the effects on him were really good. Like that was one of my favorite sections in terms of just how it looked. It made me wish that more of this movie were practical effects because I think that if it had been like significantly more practical effects and significantly less CGI, it would have just made my heart sing. I guess that wouldn't be the modern trend, but like I just think it would have been even more fun because there's so much that you could do with that, and it would be like cool.
Definitely,
you're right. The bird guy presenting the contest got me every time I saw him.
Literally every time you.
This guy's ridiculous. He's just such a weak looking creature. And it looks like they made him a bird. He's like a reverse Blade of bird people, where he just has the weaknesses of humans and birds. Like he can't fly.
Yeah.
He's got weak bones. He can't eat because he doesn't have lips. He's got a beak. It's like it just seems like he had everything, every bad part of birds and people he was stuck with.
That's a very funny take.
God, so good. Yeah, the Krampus Schlap, that really did work for me. I will say that is also further evidence that you cannot let young kids see this movie, because I feel like even kids in the 12 to 13 range, if they see this, they are going to be slapping.
They're going to be slopping the shit out of each other for sure.
The schlaps will be flying.
Yeah, true. Very true. My one disappointment with Krampus was when he shows up at the end. I felt like it was like okay, so big. Do we talk? Is it okay if I?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
I listened to a bunch of these episodes. I don't know why I'm scared now. But so he comes in at the end, and it's like Krampus is going to save the day. And he's just like, this is my ex. I know how to deal with women. And then he's like, hey, baby. And she just swats him away. And that's it. There's no reason for him to be there, except that like they were probably like, the people want more Krampus. Which of course we did.
But
I didn't feel like it really earned like the big fanfare. And if they were going to just have him be like, you could have got even more and made it like a joke out of it, where it's like he's literally just like wham. But instead he was like, oh no, and like she's whipping him around, and it like he's really trying, but he just doesn't win. It just doesn't work.
It was a little half-assed. It is also like his ex. So there's a reason why it didn't work out. I totally like the idea of him thinking he's suave and can sway her, but you know, he just doesn't understand her, and whatever got them to break up in the first place is still there. I think that's funny, but you're right. They kind of half-assed it as a joke. And it would have been greater to like have the music swell when he shows up and really build it up like it's going to be a powerful moment, and then completely undercut it there. But they do
and then
kind of
give it like a little like splat, you know, instead of like a little battle. Just really, if he's gonna lose, make him lose hard, you know.
It could have been hilarious, and it was just kind of okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, and he didn't have, it was one of those things, I feel like you guys talked about this with the Venom 3 one, which I loved that episode. I watched that movie recently. I had to listen to it.
Nice.
Anyway, but it was that same sort of thing with, there was like placeholder dialogue where it's structured like a joke, but I feel like Krampus in that end scene had the same thing where it was like, it was built like he was going to have a joke, but there wasn't really a joke there. It was just sort of like, structured like he was going to say something funny to her.
Yeah, totally.
And there was really no line, and that bummed me out because I wanted more.
Oh, I was going to say I really wanted them to do something. He had that sleigh. The sleigh was really cool, where it was always going like hooga chaka,
cool.
hooga
Yeah.
hooga.
Yes.
Like basically just doing that thing. It'd be great if when he got his ass kicked, if the sled suddenly went like, oh.
Yeah, they could have played with that sleigh so much more. It was so good. It was definitely like when it started singing and you could hear Krampus coming, I was like, like fist pumping in the theater.
Yes. You're right though. They could have punched this up. They really could have like thrown in some extra jokes that would have been easy. It was maybe it was just, it is a little underdeveloped script wise, I think. I saw online
when they spent all their money, you know, like I think that they ran out.
They spent all the money. They spent like 200 million to 250 on it.
Oh my god!
And so far it's made like 38. But I was like, $250 million for this feels like a lot. Like I guess it looked pretty good, but it feels like a lot. But I saw the box office. Apparently, it's the highest grossing non-IP movie of the year.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool. And I feel like it's good. It was nice to just see something that wasn't, Venom 3.
Yeah.
But that's my question to y'all is Santa Claus IP?
Oh, no. Oh,
no. I feel like any Christmas movie could have Santa. Like, I mean, Hallmark movies sometimes have Santa in them. They're not out there making $38 million, you know?
That's true. That's true. It just seems like if that's the movie they're holding up, because I saw it like beat out like Civil War and, I guess some other original movies that I did not see because they weren't IP. Because there was nothing in it I recognized.
Damn it, Tim.
It just seems like a movie about Santa Claus isn't necessarily the example I would love to hold up to show like the movie business is thriving. We have original content coming out all the time. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in a Santa Claus movie, highest grossing, like unique, different movie of the year. Never seen anything like this before.
Listen, if it inspires one producer somewhere to be like, let's take a risk on that like interesting Christmas movie instead of Venom 7, the last dance, I
don't know why
this time it's the last one.
Second to last dance. I don't know why I'm complaining. You're right. I'm a sucker for a Christmas movie. It's just nice. It's also like the dream is to make a Christmas movie, and then it just becomes part of the routine. And for some reason you're turning it on every year, a scary movie or like a Halloween movie. It's fun to have like a seasonal point that you can like be referenced annually or regularly and just stay in the zeitgeist like that. But
it's funny though, you mentioned it is kind of the same for retail. It's like the same rule of thumb because Christmas movies are always going to hit. Same thing with like whatever the new horror movie is that's the big smash every October. It's like saying, hey, retail stores are back. December was gangbusters. Like you can't really, you can't do that.
But I'm still glad it did well,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was built for that. I think it was like, I mean, obviously they cast The Rock. They just made like a big colorful action movie with Santa Claus in it.
Yes.
Like, I feel like
this will crush internationally.
Yeah, exactly. Or who knows? But like possibly. But like it was built to like do well and like to please a mass audience. And like I think in that regard it did its job, you know? And hopefully it makes enough money to like inspire them to make one more action movie, and maybe we get to write it, you know?
Orange One or whatever it is.
Yeah. I also I wanted to say, I forget her name. Is it Holly Hunt that was Mrs. Claus? The like 90s mom?
Bonnie Hunt.
Bonnie Hunt. Thank you.
Bonnie Hunt.
Yeah, Bonnie Hunt. What a treat to get to see Bonnie Hunt on screen again. I felt like they did a bunch of little nods to like classic 90s action flicks like that, where it was just like, I'm thrilled to be here. Like, you know, like having so much stuff in like shopping malls and like, you know, having like some of those action sequences. Like it felt very fun. It felt like they did like a few things where I was like, I see what they're going for. They're going for becoming like a classic Christmas movie, and like I wish the best for them. I might end up rewatching it next year. Who knows? Like,
wow. You know,
it could if it's on.
I really thought that I hated this movie, and talking about it, I am thinking back on it more fondly than I realized. So maybe the two of you have gotten the spirit of Christmas into me.
Oh,
his heart grew.
'Tis the season.
Dwayne the Rock sized during this,
which is still not as big as it used to be for Black Adam.
Normal size.
Yeah, it's not as big as it used to be. Would have been 5 sizes. It's about 3 now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Any last thoughts on this one?
No, just great.
Just great. Just positive. You know, just the hundreds across. Go see this movie. Take your family to see this movie. Take young children to see this movie.
Take your exactly 14-year-old children to see this movie.
No
and
older,
particularly
no
enjoy, I would say, Nick Kroll's cameo, the part where where like Kiernan Shipka's like controlling him, and for some reason his line reading is crazy and hers is incredibly calm.
Yeah. That was weird. I was like, I really wanted to know what happened on set that day.
Yeah.
Like, was Nick Kroll just going for it, or are they like egging him on? Like, how much of this, how did they figure out that his delivery would be this? That's my biggest question. Yeah. It was nonsense. It was crazy.
Spectacular.
It was fun.
I think that's what you get Kroll for. You know, that's like how whatever muses speak into people's ears. That's exactly how the experience goes for the muse. It says something very calm in his ear, and then the characters from Kroll Show come out. Just totally preposterous.
Yep.
Emily, thank you so much for being here. This was wonderful.
Thank you for having me. What a treat.
Oh my God. Anytime. What would you like to plug? What do you got? I know at least a couple things.
Okay. Yes. So I wrote the script for a Lifetime Christmas rom-com, speaking of Christmas movies for the people, called Engaged by Christmas, that's going to premiere on Lifetime on December 22nd as part of their It's a Wonderful Lifetime Christmas movie series. And I recently started writing for Yahoo Creators in like their food section. So I've got like some recipes and like, I don't know, cookbook like gift guides and stuff like that coming up on there. So that's kind of fun.
Amazing.
Keep an eye out for that. Oh, and I have a YouTube channel. No Expert with Emily Duncan. Come watch me cook and talk to people if you want. It's on the table. All right. And that's everything. Thank you so much. Oh, and follow me on Instagram at Emily Slam Duncan. Okay, I'm done.
Hell yeah. Do all of that. I can vouch personally. Any of them are great. I'm excited. I'm very excited to see the Lifetime movie. My family's going to do the Hallmark Christmas movie bingo with it.
Do it. Yeah.
Releases December 22nd.
Yeah. Yeah. I can, if you let me know, I can text you the part that was supposed to have a horse in it that got swapped out for a different scene.
Fuck yes. Absolutely will.
Yes.
But I want to try to guess it
Please
first.
do.
Yeah. I'd love to hear you guess.
I think it's the big kiss at the end. Listener, what did you think? Red 1? Deserving of Red 2? Let us know. Send us an email, nerdy430@gmail.com. We will read it on the show. We will be back here again next week. Until then, stay nerdy, everybody. Bye.
Stay nerdy. Bye. Thanks, Emily.